Hey guys, Eerie is here and welcome along to another video. In this video, following the announcement of Gran Turismo 7 being released in March, full of vigour, I decided to enter the final slot of the last Manufacturers Series race. Sadly, however, what awaited me was some of the most shameful driving I have experienced in quite some time. Sometimes it's the little things that hurt most, and I was left hurting big time after this one. But before we get into that, as always, I just want to take a couple of moments to remind you to like the video if you like the video, and make sure that you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, or if you're new around here. So let's concentrate on the positive first and set the scene. In the background you'll have seen we've entered the race and we had around 10 minutes to wait. So we've loaded up the pre-race practice lobby to warm up and we've got to work. You're watching this, my final attempt before the race started, and I came across the line with my final attempt being my best time, a 52.141, which was only 6/10 off of the top 10 if we look back at the top 10 times that we had a quick review of earlier. So I was hopeful here as we entered our split for this final race of the Manufacturers Series. So this is the lobby that we would be in for this one, and by the looks this was top split. Not top split, as I know people get very precious about it, but the top split of the drivers who were still racing at the time. And I think that was reflected by how many points were on offer. 314 for first place in this one. I don't think we quite get there, but we're hopeful for some good points considering we were only 6/10 off that top 10 as we saw in that short practice session. Getting on to quali then, this was a 5-minute session, so we had 3, maybe 4 goes at hot laps here, and as you can see, our first hot lap we missed the apex into turn number 1, so we were already compromised, and then things got worse at the penultimate corner as we missed the apex again and then kicked up a little bit of dirt going onto the long straight, and as a result at the end of that first scrappy lap we logged a 52.896. So it was time, if I could find the right button on the steering wheel, to quit out and go again. So here we are on our second attempt. We get the braking right here and we managed to hit the apex of turn number 1. So we're off to a good start there. And as a result we were 1.5 tenths up as we arrive to the penultimate corner. We hit that apex as well, but we get on the power a little bit too early, causing a bit of oversteer there, and as a result we don't go as quickly as we can. We do improve though by 2.5 tenths of a second. So that was good enough for 11th at this point. We stayed out as well because we didn't have enough time to come into the pits and then get another lap in, so it was going to be this one and then maybe one more if we get around, but unfortunately we got held up by the dodge there. He got out of the way in the end, but it didn't matter, our time was ruined, and as you can see we were 2 tenths down. And we actually got the chance to go for a 4th time. We crossed the line there as you would have seen with less than 1 second to go, so timed to perfection, and we're going to have one more shot here. We were up through sector number 1. Unfortunately we're holding up a car behind, but we can't worry about that at this point. We've just got to go for it. So we're up through sector 1 and we're still up in sector 2. Now remember, on the second attempt we actually got a bit of oversteer coming out of the penultimate corner. We didn't get that on this occasion, so we should be up on that time as long as we can get the final corner right. Easier said than done though. You've got to throw it in here, keep as much speed as possible, but it's all about the exit. We get it done though, and we're going to come across the line to just improve by 57/100ths of a second and actually hit 14th, so it was well worth doing that extra run. And when everything was confirmed, we'll be starting in 13th for this one with a quali time of only 6.5 tenths off the leader, so it's going to be incredibly tight here at Tsukuba. In the pre-race lobby, you're going to see here that we're going to come off the soft tyres. We don't want to be starting on those because of where we're starting on the grid. We're going to move to the hards so we can get the hards and the mediums out the way early and spend the rest of the race on softs. So as the pre-race intro is underway, let's just touch on that strategy. So in this race, you've got soft, mediums and hards available, but you must use the mediums and the hards. So what we're going to do here is do one lap on the hards, come in, do one lap on the mediums, come in, and then do 2 stints on the softs. So that we're on the softest tyre for as long as possible, whilst minimising being caught in traffic. We wouldn't want to be on softs right now, because I guarantee everybody around us will be on hards, and because it's so tight here at Tsukuba, you'll just get stuck behind them and you'll be wasting that softer compound. So as we get underway here, we're going to start on this horrendously difficult final turn. We're going to come across the line to actually begin the race. Now, I know in hindsight I'm on hard, cold tyres, but coming out of turn number 1, I'm just a little bit eager on the throttle here and I almost go round. I'm careful about where I rejoin. I slot back into 15th, and then out of nowhere a Spaniard is going to execute the perfect pit manoeuvre and put us around in a half spin, dropping us down to the very back of the field. Not to be deterred though, but with our enthusiasm slightly dampened, we carry on. We're likely to be at the back of the field after back-to-back early pit stops anyway. Think about it as a massive undercut, a race-long undercut, and we have loads and loads of laps left, so anything can happen. So we pit as planned at the end of lap number 1 to get off the hards and get onto the mediums. So the hards are out the way, and then at the end of lap number 2 we're going to get both of those harder compounds out of the way and gone by getting rid of the mediums and then jumping onto the softs. This should now leave us on softs for the remaining distance, with just a pit stop halfway around lap 17 or 18, because the softs won't last the distance. Keeping the faith that we can still salvage a result from this race. Moving ahead a few laps here to lap number 6, we're putting our soft tyres to good use as we're on course for the fastest lap of the race, just. And because of this pace, we've caught up to the Supra up in front. But the Italian is struggling. He's also got himself a penalty, something we really needed here, as that allowed us up alongside and into 18th. Now that was really fortunate, because we're on soft tyres and we're clearly on different strategies, so there was a potential that if we didn't clear him early because of that penalty, then we could have been stuck behind him for a long time, completely ruining our strategy. Unfortunately, due to overtaking him and not having the optimal line through the final corner, we weren't able to get that fastest lap in the books, but I'll take the place gained over the fastest lap any day of the week, because it's not like Formula 1. You get absolutely nothing, apart from kudos potentially, for getting the fastest lap in FIAs. Moving ahead here to the end of the next lap, lap number 8. Keep your eye on the left, you'll see that 2 cars have come into the pits, and it's going to be close. We're going to slot in between them, but to add insult to injury here, in an identical move to the one on lap number 1, I am going to be hit again. I was clear, I was taking a wider entry to straighten the line on the exit. I needed to clear them and would have done had it not been for that move. And as a result, I am now going to be stuck right behind them. And I'll be honest, I'm absolutely fuming. I could have retaliated, as I've seen many do so for far less. I think lots of us have seen many people do it for far less, if anything. But we're not going to do that. Reluctantly, to set an example to everybody who watches these videos, I am going to resist those urges. So, sit rep. We're here in 18th, 32 seconds behind the leader, so over half a lap now, and there is just absolutely no way we're going to be able to get past this guy, even though we are on softer tyres. I was really looking forward to these races. After the Gran Turismo 7 announcement, I was really hyped. I thought, yes, we've got 6 months left of GT Sport, and then we can get stuck into Gran Turismo 7. Brand new game, something we haven't had for 4 years. One instant I can handle, but 2, it tipped me over the edge in pretty much 2 identical moves. So subtle, but so devastating to my race result. I could have cried, quite frankly. and they both had no shame. That was the worst thing, as they just carried on with their race after pushing me out of the way. And I show you warts and all on this channel, as you all know. I show you the good and the bad, so I was so upset, rather than carrying on for the next 30 odd laps, I did something I never ever do. And I actually came in and quit the race. That was the end of the video. Let me know before you go what you thought of those moves. Were they racing incidents? Were they purposeful? Would you have waited, or would you have just carried on? Or is it a case of, if you no longer go for a gap that exists, you are no longer a racing driver? Let me know in the comment section down below, guys. That's going to be the end of this one. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do leave a like and make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.